Hello, welcome to McBoss Capital channel. My name is Michael Chu. This is a market recap video for the week ending August 8th, 2025. Here's the Nasdaq composite chart. We are have continued, recover from last week's sell-off here. You can see right here we came close to the red line, which is the 10-week moving average. And this week we were able to close higher than last week's high. So that is a really good recovery, and this is now in not only V-shaped rebound, but we are in 18 weeks up. You can see from previous rallies, we're getting close to near the top of the range, and this is already classified one of the best rally without a pullback of like 5% or something like that. So this is yeah, this is still growing. On the daily chart, here's last week's Thursday, Friday pullback, and then this week, like we gap up Monday above the 10-day, the green line right here, and then we continue to bounce back. This is quite impressive. There is higher volume here. It's still below average, but it's still higher volume as it climbs. So that's also some accumulation there happening. We're similar to Nasdaq, also bounced back from last week's sell-off. It didn't make new high by the end of the week, but it did recover most of it. So we are near the new high again. So on the daily chart, we can see the pullback here last Thursday, Friday, and then this week we bounce back, and yeah, we're very close to the new highs again. So it's possible we will come out there again. We did see a little bit more volume on the downside though, like both Tuesday and Thursday. And then Friday the volume is quite weak on the bounce, so something to be uh, thinking about here. So here's Dow Jones Index. We also sell off the week before. This week it did try to recover, but the bounce looked a little bit weak. It closed near the middle of the range, and we are still kind of looking more like a downtrend than in an uptrend right now. On the daily chart, here's the weeks before. We make a new low on last Thursday, Friday. This week, so we undercut that. That's one problem. Second thing is we bounce back, but this 5 days of bounce back are very weak, right? And we are still below the 10-day right now. So that's another big concern is how it just couldn't come above the 10-day on Thursday and Friday on that slope there. So this is definitely a week as well. And we also see higher selling volume than the blue bars here, which is the up days. Here's Russell on the weekly chart. Again, we see the same thing. The previous week we have a huge downside, and then this week we tried to recover. It did close a little bit above the middle range. However, you can draw a channel line on the top. Last 3 weeks we see a downtrend line forming. On the weekly, on the daily chart, very similar to Dow. We undercut the previous support level there. We did bounce back, but the problem is, the bounce back is getting resistance at the 10-day area, so the 10-day line, and we also below this down slope. So again, it's very similar. Thursday and Friday, even on the up day like Friday, it couldn't just move, above that trend line there. So maybe it takes more time, but at this moment, it just looked quite a little bit weak. S&P, we see definitely weaker behavior. You can see it clearly couldn't pass the 10-day and form this slope as well, so that's a problem right there. And QQEW is also doing exactly the same. It actually hugs red line more than the 10-day at the top here, so that's actually even weaker. This page from IBD Investors Business Daily newspaper here, we see the New York Stock Exchange advanced decline daily line right here, and on the right side here you can see even though the index is going up on the top here, the advanced decline line actually barely moved. So it shows the market rally is a little bit less broad now, despite the index moving up. So that's a problem. On the Nasdaq advanced decline line down here, it looks really bad because it not only came down, but look at this, it actually coming down on Thursday as well. Like so, even though the index up, so this is actually very weird because you have index going up, but the advanced decline line just kind of going sideways or going down. So they just show the tech stocks are not doing as well for sure. in the broad rally sense, right? And probably the index going up because of the major mega caps and so forth. We'll look at that at the end, near the end of this video, but just show the general breadth is not there no more. So something to be worried about. So in the coming week, in terms of news, we have consumer price index for July due Tuesday, and also producer price index data coming Thursday. U.S. retail sales will be out on Friday, and that is important because that accounts for 2/3 of GDP. Earnings, we have Cisco, SE, Applied Material, and IPO names like CoreWeave and Circle Internet. Looking at the 10-year yield, after last Friday's job report, it really came down. It did find its footing and bounced back this week towards the 10-day here. On the US dollar, it also gave back quite a bit after the job report, so it did come down below the 10-day here again. The oil has been coming down pretty strong as well after I think OPEC increased some production last week, so now it's under 50-day moving average. The gold price quite stable this week. It would actually bounce back above the 10-day and kind of very tight trading here. So it has happened before. But many times it got rejected here at the top here. So it looks like it just continue consolidate. Yeah, as the 200 days continue to starting to come up as well. The 50-day line is the red line is kind of starting to turn a little bit more flat now. So we'll see if it can eventually break out once more. Silver is bouncing after coming down to the red line here, 50-day moving average, and right now it's above 10 days, so that looks pretty healthy. Copper really didn't recover after some tariffs announcement. It slammed all the way down. It really didn't move at all even this week, so it didn't bounce back. You can see the L-shaped pattern, which is quite bearish here. On the Bitcoin front, it has weakened quite a bit. It has come back all the way to like the buy point right here. It did bounce back here on Thursday above the 10-day. It's still kind of under somewhat of a downtrend slope here. And Friday it couldn't go up above that, like it couldn't just follow through. So yeah, there's some weakness here. For the semiconductor group, we see the bounce back from last week's sell-off here, and it's near. Yeah, I think it might have made a new closing high. So on the week, so that looks pretty good actually. So here we kind of have a pullback here a few weeks ago. Then we have another severe pullback last Thursday, Friday, and then we start to bounce here. And at first it kind of losing its grip here, but then it was able to come up above it on Thursday, and then Friday it continued to move up. So that looks pretty good. We are near the highs here. We haven't made new high yet, but we are near the highs. I believe Trump administration might impose a 100% tariff on all semiconductors. So that kind of helps some of the chips in some sense. Looking at Bavago Broadcom here, we are still, we pull back and we have bounced back to new highs area. So that looks pretty good. Nvidia looked exactly almost similar. Again, it pulled back last Thursday, Friday, and it has bounced to pretty much new closing high. Here's Taiwan Semiconductor. Actually, this one pulled back quite a bit, undercut the previous low here. But look at this big gap up on Thursday. It did, fall back down to the 10-day, but right now it's just sitting a little bit above it. AMD report earnings, at first glance it didn't look good, but it was able to bounce back the next day. Right now it's above the 10-day again. So here's the IGV, the software group ETF, and so we had a bad reversal the week before, right? It pulled back all the way to 10 week. And then this week, it tries to recover, but look at where it closed. It's more closer to the bottom of the range, as well as it's close to the 10-week line as well. So this is a little bit troublesome right now. So on the daily chart, you can see where, clear it pulled back to the red line. This is a very important support line for this group here, and then on Thursday it couldn't go higher. In fact, it came down to the red line again, very close to it. And then Friday, you would think it wants to bounce when Nasdaq was stronger, but yet it couldn't. And again, it's closed near the bottom of the range on Friday. So this is very negative, I think. And we can see the higher volume too on the selling side. So this is not good sign. And also now we are clearly, there's a very strong slope coming down as well. So I think if we do break this 50-day, we're definitely gonna probably come down to 200-day. So this is something to be a little bit worried about. So here's Microsoft doing really well recently in this rally. It did top, kind of look like a top right now on the earnings. So that's the problem. The best news come out and it's time to take profit and sell, right? And so now it has slowly coming back to the 10-day now. So it give up quite a bit from here to here. So this is the problem. Not only that, we are in a downtrend right now, and you know, given Nasdaq was up like Thursday, Friday, we couldn't rally on that. That is pretty bad, right? Because that shows you see the RS line. It's actually going down now. So relative strength wise, it's not acting well at all. Google showing very strong, nice breakout right here from this trend line there. It pulled back last week, but this week it really took off. This is the 10-day moving average slope. Looks very strong. Again, volume a little bit weak on the upside, but it did pick up by Friday a little bit more as it breaks out. Meta, after its strong earnings, is starting to drift down a little bit. It still look okay because the 10-day is catching up and it hasn't want to come down to the 10-day. So that's the good thing. So Amazon saw off on the earnings. It did rebound since then, and right now it just stopped at the 10-day right here. A big surprise this week is Apple announcing more $100 billion more investment into the U.S. and that really helped them maybe get exempt from tariff from India and stuff, and that could help them moving forward a lot, and the stock really moved. I think this week it gained quite a bit. It's definitely extended right now, but this week, yeah, it was up 13%. So very monster move based on that news, and that looks good for them at this moment. So here's Tesla. Tesla also making a big move here as well. This is a long-term trend line here, and many times they have found resistance there, resistance here, and right this time it cleared it on Friday. Um, I personally didn't see any news, but that's a good thing, like volume pickup. And the selling volume also dwindle on the, really low. So maybe this could work. We'll see. It's starting to form the right side of the base here. Like we have this kind of pendant movement here, pendant pattern here, where the top part is sliding down, and then the lower, the lows are higher and higher. And we broke out this pendant so far. Whether this is a trap, I don't know. We'll see. But if it does follow through, then I think it could move very fast. Because a lot of people are watching this pattern here. Netflix here. It's been coming down for a while now. Before many stocks, and it is starting to bounce back. It's only the third session bounce so far, but it is now above the short-term 10-day and 21-day. So it looks pretty good, and it could work. We'll see. Volume also rising on the plus side, and quite low on the downside. So volume signature here looks really good. Potentially this could be forming the right side of the base now after this pullback. I think the pullback was not that severe. Here it says 15%. So yeah, compared to the last one was 23%. This one is 15%. Looks pretty healthy right now. So yeah, there's lots of earnings came out this week, and on my growth stock list, which I'll make a video about next. Please follow that. Probably lots of new names, and we're gonna see who the leaders are. And some of them has already taken off, due to earnings and stuff. But maybe on the next pullback, we could, maybe entering some of those positions. So please stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you like and subscribe.